Hello, my lovely weirdos. It's Cassie, and today we have to talk. I'm gonna have lunch with you guys because I feel like eating with someone and talking about life is one of the most intimate things you can do with someone. I met a bunch of you guys at VidCon, and I ended up just really opening up about my life and telling you guys things that I don't even tell my personal friends because we have a lot in common. You guys are really cool and articulate and soft-spoken, and I feel like I can really trust a lot of you guys. So I'm going to tell you guys some really personal things about my life, and so hopefully you guys grab some lunch too. Today I'm having some pho. It is one of my favorite foods of all time, and I like to have it extremely spicy, like to the point where I'm sweating and crying and dying while I eat it. So I start off with some chili oil. I put a huge chunk of chili oil in. I rip one of these chilies in half and just put the really hot guys in. And I also take some sriracha. Some people I know call this sriracha, and I find that very annoying, but sriracha is probably wrong too, so yeah, I put a lot of that in. Pepper, you can't forget pepper. I always tell Carrie that I put pepper in my pho, and he's always like, no you don't, as like a way to tease me. I don't know why, it's like this weird ongoing joke that I don't even know why I talked about it. Hoisin sauce. The stuff they have at the pho places isn't the healthiest thing in the world, but I got the stuff that's a little bit healthier. I also add basil, and usually it's Thai basil, but all I could find at the store is regular basil, so I put a ton of that in just because it adds so much flavor. And usually I add lime as well, but I couldn't find a lime, and by that I mean I didn't have a lime and I didn't want to go to the store and buy one. And there's a hair in my pho too, so that just adds extra flavor, I guess. Pho is one of those foods that looks really gross but is actually delicious. That is so freaking hot. The first thing I'm going to talk about is fasting, and a lot of you guys probably know that I tried fasting last month for the month of Ramadan in solidarity with my mom, who's a practicing Muslim, and my Muslim friends, and just wanting to know what the whole ordeal is like because I've always seen people do it, and I've always wanted to try it. And the reason why I didn't have this huge, like, celebration and be like, yeah, and pat myself on the back at the end of fasting is because, and I was afraid to admit this to you guys, I didn't make it through the whole month. I did try my best, and I did fast every single day that I could, but I didn't make it through the whole month. It's really shady to say that you're gonna do something and then not do it to its full extent, and that's really not the kind of person that I'm trying to be. So I was really ashamed. Oh. I ended up going to my mom and telling her about it. I was like, Mom, I tried my best to fast. I didn't make it through the whole month. And she was like, Cassie, you tried it with the best of intentions, and to me, right now, that's all that matters, and I'm very proud of you. And I don't know if you guys know my mom, but she's a very strict and emotionless, well, not emotionless, but very just kind of standard Asian mom who, like, you'll get straight A's or jump over the moon, and she'll be like, good for you. So that made me feel a lot better about it. Part of the reasons why I wasn't fasting is because, first of all, my brother got into law school. I had to go to Toronto with him, and I wanted to be present for him there. I wanted to be like, this is awesome, and what can we do, rather than I'm so tired and I want to go to bed. So I didn't fast during that. I tried to fast during one day in Toronto, and a guy broke into our room at 3:30 in the morning. Well, he attempted to. He was banging on the door and slamming at it. I looked out and I saw what he looked like. I was absolutely terrified, so I couldn't get my first meal in that day. I couldn't even eat anything until like noon that day. Also, I was on my period for a while. I was sick for a while. There's just so many different things that happened that made me incapable to fast the entire time. However, the fasting that I did taught me something that is invaluable to me, and this is the heavy part. 2 years ago, when my sister passed away, I first heard the news at 2 a.m. and I was absolutely shocked. I didn't even cry. I didn't know what to do. My brother was very, very sad, understandably. I was so worried about what my parents would think. I was like, oh, are they gonna have heart attacks? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, is my family ruined? There's so many people that owe everything to my sister. I don't know what to tell them either. So I sat my parents down and I was like, you guys just relax and try to just get yourself together. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that everything is okay. You don't do anything, I'm gonna do everything. So I went, I got the death certificate, I got all the paperwork done, I planned the funeral, I paid for the funeral out of pocket, which is something I really couldn't afford at the time. I had a tiny little YouTube channel, I was working at a restaurant, and I was a student. So that was really hard for me, but I didn't want to bring it up to anyone. It's still something I haven't even really brought up to my parents, but I've paid it off by now, so that's okay. And I felt like the fact that I could do all of those things and go into public and pretend that I was okay made me feel like I was really, really strong. I thought I was being strong, and I thought I was being this model citizen of humanity, going through some hard things and just keeping my chin up. And I just kind of tricked myself into thinking that this was strength and that I was okay. I went back to uploading videos, 2 days later, I went back to work. Like I said, I just was trying to act like everything was okay because I thought that that was the right thing to do. I mean, no one ever really knows what to do in situations like that. Anyway, the reason why fasting was so important with this is because I never really had a chance to mourn about my sister until the first week of fasting. Because before that, I was exercising every day and working every day and reading and finding distractions and going out with friends and just doing all of these things that a normal happy person would do, but I never really had the chance to be sad because I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to be sad. So fasting forced me to sit down on my couch with an empty belly and let all of these feelings that I've been repressing just hit me with full force. I was having all sorts of depression and mental breakdowns. It scared the hell out of Terry. He didn't know what to do, and he ended up getting me this book called No Time to Say Goodbye by Carla Fine. And the reason why I can make this video and I can talk about it to you guys and I can be okay right now is because when I read this book and when I fasted, my healing process actually began. And this book is very gory, it's morbid in a few ways. It details a lot of suicides in a very graphic way, but it really made me feel like I'm not alone, and I highly, highly recommend it to anyone who has survived through suicide, who knows somebody who killed themselves, who even just wants to know more about it. I think it's such an important book, especially detailing what it's like not to be the suicide person, but the person who was left behind. And I'm sorry that I'm not articulate right now. This is kind of hard for me to talk about, and I've got atomic peppers in my belly. But that book helped me so much, and I feel like for the first time in 2 years, I actually feel okay. Before I thought I felt okay, and I feigned being okay, but I wasn't truly okay, and now I've actually felt happy. When I visited LA and went to VidCon and the Icon Summit, I felt happy, and I haven't felt that in so long. I haven't laughed until I cried in so long, and just done all these things that I used to do and things that made life worth living in such a long time. So that was one thing that made fasting super important to me. Another thing, and this one might piss some of you guys off, and I mean, you might be mad at me, you might be mad at the person I was mad at. I don't know, but I'm not trying to be perfect on this channel, I'm just trying to be honest. What happened was, in Toronto, I flagged a cabbie. The cabbie pulled a Yui, accidentally cut somebody off, and the person who was cut off pulls up to the cabbie while I'm getting in the cab and is like, "You are a piece of shit immigrant, why don't you get a real job, blah, 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 blah." And while you're fasting, you're not supposed to be negative, you're not supposed to feed that kind of negativity, you're supposed to turn the other cheek and try to be as mature as possible. And this is one of the reasons why I don't feel like I completed the fast in the truest, best way possible, is because when that girl did that, I looked her in the eyes and I was like, "You are a piece of shit, and the way you generalized him and the way you're just so hateful to somebody you don't even know." And then I just like went just off the handle, and the cabbie looks at me rather than her and says, "Please stop, she's probably having a bad day." And I have never been so ashamed at myself and inspired by humanity at the same time in my entire life. It was life-changing, and he shut me up. I hope I didn't just get pepper in my eye. He shut me up real good, and I sat in the back of the cab silently for the rest of the ride until the prayer came on. I realized he was fasting too, and maybe that's why he handled it so well, or maybe he's just a genuinely good person. I don't know, but it really made me feel like when people are mean to you, they're probably just having a bad day. And a lot of the bad days I had when I was fasting, it really made me feel the negative and sometimes hateful comments that I get. And most of you guys are amazing, and I can just rub off the negative comments whenever, but during fasting, I had some bad days, and I got this email from this girl who insisted that I uploaded the video called "I Almost Drowned" because I just wanted you guys to see what I look like in a bikini, that I'm that desperate to be validated by you guys in that way. And it just made me really sad that I went through the trouble of filming and editing and directing and uploading and like just putting this video out there just so people could only take that from it. And it really reminded me of a Taylor Swift thing I saw on Reddit. She donated $50,000 to a girl who was dying of leukemia in order to help her with her fight. I read the comments on the Reddit thread, and they were like, "Oh, that's like this much of her income, she could have done way better," or "She's just doing this for publicity." And I wanted to cry until I saw this comment that was like, if you guys are trying to pull something negative out of a positive situation like this, then you really need to go outside. Reading comments all day can do this to you, and you've lost your way. What matters the most here right now is that this little girl's life is changed. This money will help her with her fight. And just the unbelievable financial load that was taken off of this family because Taylor Swift decided that this was important is what we should be focusing on. Seeing that comment really, really made me feel a lot better. Talking to you guys at VidCon made me feel so much better. You guys are amazing, and that's why I want to open up to you guys more and talk to you, because you mean so much to me. And when you guys come up to me and tell me that what I've done means a lot to you, I don't think that, hopefully you do understand what that means to me. Reading comments every day makes my day. Hearing it in person just blew my mind. Just putting it to a name and a face and a person with a big smile made me feel so happy. So these are just some things that I really wanted to talk about to you guys. I hope that this video cleared up a few things and helped you guys get to know me a little bit more. I'm sorry if I bored you, and if you watched it to this far in the video, thank you for caring, and you guys are the people that I'm doing this for. People will come and go with this whole YouTube thing, but you guys are the people that I really want to connect with, so I'm really glad that you're here. I will never for 1 second take you guys for granted. I love you so much, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.
What the hell? Oh my god, what are you doing in my house? Who are you?
I just got applesauce all over your bed. I'm so sorry. My name is Cassie. I'm new to LA. You're my favorite beauty vlogger. I would love
psycho.
to ask you some questions. Just for the audience.
Women